We are in the Foot Techniques lab. This is lesson module 2, where we are going to discuss two-note groups with the pedal, with the foot. And when we converted our Moeller technique to the foot, we used a three-note group, a down, tap, and an up, similar to the hand. So we practiced that with triplets. So this is going to be a discussion over what happens when we only have a two-note group. How do we change it, and how does it get affected? So let's take a look at that. The same principle applies as our three-note group as far as the first note being a splash. So we're going to splash it just like if we were on the hi-hat. Splash with a downward leg movement. Pull the beater back to the same position. Do not keep the beater in the drum. The next stroke is a tap with the foot because our heel is already planted. So splash, tap, and then after that tap, we're going to release the beater up by picking up the heel of our foot, keeping our toe or the ball of the foot still on the pedal. So splash, tap with an up, and release. So splash, tap, splash, tap, splash, tap with an up. Splash, tap, splash, tap, splash, tap, splash, tap. And that's the rocking motion that you see. If I do it on this pedal, you can really see it. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. The beater's releasing. If it didn't, the drum would sound like that. Doesn't sound as good. Okay, so I have an exercise to help do this. Now what's in question is, what happens if we want to accent the second note? So here we're accenting the first note. Down, up, down, up, down, up, downbeat, and 2, and 3, and 4, and we can also put the accent on the upbeat. So we're going to do the up note first and then splash. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I have an exercise for you to work on to develop this technique. The first bar is downbeats, second bar is upbeats, so it's up, down, third bar is downbeats, down, up, and then the last bar is down and then tap out the rest of the bar as eighth notes, just with a tap like that. So you're practicing all three techniques in this exercise, but it's phrased in groups of 2 because it's either eighth notes or 16th notes, depending on how you want to do it. So let me put the click on. And we're going to play this 4-bar exercise. So first bar down, second bar up, third bar down, and then accent tap out the rest of the fourth bar. 1, 2, 1, and 2, and 3, and go. So you can just write down each day your tempo in doing that and work on that each day a little bit at a time. Speed it up and you'll get some pretty slamming speed pretty fast with your foot. Now the same technique is going to hold true. We can do the down and up to play either single strokes grouped in 2 in between hands, let's say, or just single strokes by themselves, or if we want to do a double stroke. If we're going to do a diddle. So the diddle, so I'm playing that with the accent on the second note. And one of the things that I recommend is always practicing the diddle, the quick note, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. Practicing that, putting the second note with the accent. Because when you start going fast, and when I demonstrate this at the end, you'll see, when I start going fast, if you try to accent the first note, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, for diddles, it ends up being sloppy sounding. When you accent the second note and you go up, down, up, down, up, down, da 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 da, you have that second note accented. It starts to even out, and you get more of a machine gun effect when you accent the second note of that double. So that exercise that we did with the click is really key because it teaches you to accent that and accent the second note of a double where the upward movement is first. So let me just give you a quick little example here with hand to hands with the foot, and you can see how it interplays between the hands, or I'll play it as just straight 16th notes or 8th notes, depending on the tempo, and in a flurry of straight two group notes with the foot or in between the hands, and so on and so forth. So here's a little example of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. In both of those demonstrations, I'm using the same technique that you can see once you get up to speed, it's rocking. This is rocking technique, and play the crazy army thing that Gad used to play, and that's a flurry of 16th notes with the 1 foot, but they're accented. 1 E and a 2 E and a. So this is the only way you can really get that to happen. You could never play that with accents by digging the beater into the head. It's just not possible because you can't get it to happen that fast, and even if you could, you couldn't get the accents out of it. So this is the only technique that's going to allow you to play with that much dynamic interplay on the bass drum. For the final demonstration here, I just want to show you playing the diddles with the foot. I'm going to start slow and speed it up, and again, I want to accent the second note of those diddles by doing the up note first, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and that'll accent the second note of the diddle. And once I get going quicker, it's going to even the thing out, and it's going to have that machine gun effect to it. So here's utilizing the diddle, the 2-note group, accenting the second note, and I'll speed it up and maybe move it around the toms a little bit so you can see how you could maybe utilize this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.